No.
Okay.
Hi, Vanshita.
Hi, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, Aman, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, so hello, everyone. I'm Vanshita Sethi, co-lead at Mobile Web Dev. I hope you all are doing good and is, of course, safe and healthy at home. So, I welcome you all to this startup of doing a web startup in a right way with Mobile Web Dev. So before heading towards this session, there may be some question in some of your minds that what is startup, what is the benefit of doing the startup, and what is the right time to lay the foundation of the startup. So to answer all of your questions and doubts, we have a great event lined up for you. So coming forward, let me introduce you to our speakers. Firstly, Aakarshan Sethi, Senior Community Manager at sinbex Venture. He is an experienced consultant in field of government domains, startup ecosystems, events, and technical services, skilled in entrepreneurship, market research, and IoT. He has also been a part of a startup, Indian Yatra, and of course, a great mentor and a speaker. Secondly, we have Aman Sharma, who is a lead at Mobile Web Dev and is also a chief technical officer at twimbit. He is a WG member for AMP and WordPress contributor. He has given many sessions at OpenTech, DevFest, WordCamp, part of Google India Web BDC community, and also he is recognized as a top 10 CTOs of India. So, over to you, Akarshan sir.
Thank you so much, Vanshita, for this lovely introduction. I would really thank you and the community for mobile web develop community to invite me for speaking on this session. So, guys, welcome and good evening to everyone. I am like this is one of the best webinars which I'm going to be a part of because I'm sharing a panel with one of my bestest buddies, I can say, a best pal, best brother, whomsoever you can call, because Aman is very dear to me. And guys, I trust me, you don't listen to me, it's absolutely fine, but do listen to Aman because he will change the perception of yours towards the web development, towards the technology, because the way he can develop, I really have seen anyone develop the whether it's the websites, whether it's the technology, whether it's about anything. Okay, so it's a kind request, maybe for the next 20 minutes you don't hear me, it's absolutely fine, but do hear Aman Sharma, that's for sure. And I can tell you for sure that he is going to play a big role in your life if you implement each and everything which he will be saying. Yeah. So coming to me, I would really request that it has to be a two-way session. I have a presentation, but I'm not going to show the presentation right now because I feel personally it's a very boring thing. So I really want that at the end of the day when we will have the Q&A session. So you ask me as much questions as I want because it's only about 15-20 minutes which I have been allotted. So for the next 15-20 minutes, I really want you to just listen to me, okay, which is regarding first how we will talk about. There are 3-4 agendas on which I will be covering. That is defining your startup, right? Then how you can create a B plan, a proper business plan, and then how can you go big, okay, and taking that ideation to actually an implementation, how you can go. And probably after that, Aman will take over and he will talk about the technical tools through which you can actually create a wonderful startup. So, guys, talking at the start, we talk about defining your startup. So many people ask me that, what is a startup, right? How we can start a startup? Where does this startup come from? What is this exactly a word consisting of a startup? So I would ask you a lot of questions, when we will have the Q&A. But before that, I'll just tell you the perception. Don't consider startup to be a business. Consider startup to be a solution to a real life problem. Whether you solve it by your technicalities, whether you solve it by your expertise in the technical domain, whether you solve it by any XYZ business plan, whether you are not even skilled in technical services, but you know how you can impact the people out there, you do that. But at the end of the day, startup is all about a solution which you are solving, through which you are solving a real life problem. So remember that. Whether we talk about in the coding, we code a lot, right? You all people, I'm not sure how many of you know about C++, Java, advanced Java, PHP, right? Every time we do a coding, right, we create a proper program. Sometimes there are errors at the end of the day which disturbs us a lot and probably takes about more than 4 hours to just remove that simple error. But once we remove that error, we say, "Hush, we have solved a problem. We have finally decoded a program. Finally, there is a program which we can run through, and it can somehow create a solution to which we were solving a problem." So always remember, startup in real life is as well, just like programming, that you have to solve a problem, a real life based problem. You do it via code, you do it via your business plan, you do it via XYZ thing, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what matters is you have to solve a real life problem. Sorry. Now, how can you do that? And what are the steps I'll take you through? So the first, always remember the first step is to find a problem. Very, very important step. If you have found a problem, right, then you can think about of how you can implement an idea. So first, problem is very, very important. Once you have identified the problem, then you go on to the next step and you talk about idea. Once you have the idea, then you talk about the prototype. So remember these three things. Again, I'll define these three things very importantly, because again, these three things also comprises of 2-3 steps within themselves. So the first step which I spoke about, that is problem, finding a proper problem into the ecosystem. If you find a problem, you just take an example, any XYZ, whether it's a real life based example of, let's just take you through a very simple example. So let's just say 10 years back or 15 years back, in 2004 5, we were having a lot of problems regarding the groceries, right? If we have to, we have to go out, in 2005 2004, we have to go out and buy the groceries, right? But now, after 15 years down the line, through the web development and the web tools, right, we have few of these startups like Amazons, like Flipkarts, right, Grofers, who have actually turned the things around. Now we can have everything at our home step. And how we are getting that? It's through just a web development. There was nothing else which was created, right? A normal e-commerce website created, which was connecting a customer and a seller. There was nothing big. There was only two things, which was happening, that they are just creating. They have created a technical platform through which a customer and a seller can just associate together and do the business, right? And as an integrator, the Amazons, the Flipkarts, and the Grofers, their founders are becoming billionaires, millionaires, right? Trillionaires, to be precise. So that is how you find a solution. Okay, with your set of technologies, with yourself as a tech, just always think about the technical aspects. How we can, this is more of a because I'm not sure how many people are from tech background. I hope majority are from the tech background. So I really request, so whenever you are a tech person, okay, you always think about how I can implement a technology in the real life. We have seen many new technologies coming into the picture right now, whether it's the fundamental use of IoT devices, whether it's the use of AR, VR, right? There are so many things, so many upcoming technologies which is happening, and we are able to solve so many cases, in day-to-day life in any industry. So that is how you need to check. You need to check the problem first, okay, and then use your technicalities and create a solution for the same. But always do remember that once you have created an idea, a technical idea which is going to solve a basic problem, you validate that technical idea. Now, you will ask, what do you mean by technical validation of the idea? So guys, the technical validation of the idea, I'll take you through that example itself, where the customers were having a problem that they have to physically go to grocery shop to buy some goods, right? And nowadays we are getting all the goods via online services, right? So that time there was a problem which we identified. Just do a demo test whether we can do it or not. Create a website and ask your friends to do some kind of stuff. That can the user and customer be connected on an integrated platform? Can there be a platform where the users and customers can come, right? Can there be what all the technicalities would be there, what all the languages we have to use, right? So that it can be the user experience, which is very, very important in nowadays. Probably Aman will tell you more about the UX part. But again, on the technical validation of the side of your idea, you need to understand that UX is the most important thing. UI UX is the most important thing. If the customer is not feeling great while using your UI, or maybe his experience is not great as a customer, so why would he come onto your platform, right? If there will be if it's a very difficult platform to use, why the customer will come? And trust me guys, there has been innumerous Amazons, innumerous Flipkarts, innumerous Snapdeals, innumerous Alibabas, innumerous e-commerce platforms, Mintras. There have been many, but we only know 4 to 5 good e-commerce platforms. Why there aren't many other platforms successful? Because at the end of the day, their user experience was not that great. So whenever you are talking about creating a solution, okay, just make sure that the user experience should be great enough so that you are going through in the right direction. So this is very, very important, guys, and trust me, this will create a huge impact when you will be going through the same. Second, which we will be talking about, that is creating a B plan. I hope you understand about why problem is necessary, and then the technology aspect is necessary, and then the idea and creating that, validating that idea through technicalities is necessary. These three things has to be necessary: the problem, the idea, and then the technical idea validation. Always remember these three things. If you do remember these three things, trust me, I don't use this word usually, but yeah, failure will not be an option for you. Trust me, because these three things are very, very necessary, whether as a programmer you are going ahead or whether as a non-programmer. Even if you are an IT professional or not, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what matters is you take these three steps into your account and then work accordingly. Second, creating a B plan, a business plan, right? Now you need a bit more advanced side of the business, like how the business can be integrated with technology. Again, these two things are, see, again, people really compare a lot of times that technology is this, business doesn't matter. If your technology is good, then it doesn't matter what is the price of that technology, what is not. Trust me guys, this doesn't matter. At the end of the day, even if your technology is too advanced, your technology can do n number of things, right? If the business is not integrated properly, right, how you can say that your technology is great? If there is not a great business model attached to your technology, how you can say, let's just assume, we no disrespect to any technology person over here, but just take my just think about it, okay? I'm giving you a live example. There are so many robotics firm in entire world, right? They have created such amazing robots, amazing robots. You all would have heard about the first humanoid robot across world, Sophia, right? Amazing robot. But how many people know about Sophia Robots parent company? How many people know about Sophia Robots parent company's founder? How many people are there? I really have a doubt you would know that, right? But if I ask you that who is the founder of Amazon, you would know that. If I ask you who is the founder of Flipkart, you would know that. Why? Because their business model was great. I'm not comparing any of these two things, but I'm just telling you that the technology has to be integrated with business, and it should be aligned together so that you get that name, fame, money, and everything. So your technology should be integrated with business. This is very, very important, guys. If you don't consider your solution to be the best, if you don't price the solution rightly, I am sorry, your solution would not be appreciated by the market. So this is very, very, this is a harsh reality, but I have seen many technology startups fail miserably and their technology startups are great. It's just that they didn't do the proper validation. They didn't ask the market that what price should I keep for my product, and eventually I would say they didn't succeed. That's the simple thing. All I can say. So this is very, very important. Whenever you are as a inventor, I would say you go out into the market, create a something wonderful, fabulous invention. See, there is a very the inventors have a very, very very what I can say, very vague ideas, right? And then they say that that vague idea, I don't know whether we can solve it or not, or we can go for the real life problems or not, or something on those lines. They always say that, but I always say that if you even if a technologist have or inventor has a vague idea, he can definitely create a wonderful idea out of it, because their creativity, every programmer's creativity is amazing. They are bound to be creative in nature. That's why they are called as programmers, right? I am being an IT personal myself. Now I'm into business line, but I've been an IT personal myself. I know that time my creativity was much more than today. Today I can probably convince a lot of people out there into the market, but I might not able to create many solutions and sell them. I can sell the solutions which are created by the people around me, but maybe I cannot create new solutions because I am not that great inventor or that creativity artist, probably, which the other programmers are. So if you are a programmer, you have wonderful ability to have that creativity in nature. If you have that creativity thing, right, then it's a request. Please integrate all the business model, which I'm now going to tell you. The first step on the business model is that validation of your idea. Now these two things are different. The technology idea validation was a different thing altogether. Here the validation is different. How? The validation is of your business model. So let's just say if you have created a proper algorithm of a program, right, and that algorithm may cost around $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or maybe more than that, right, of a specific program, and you think this algorithm is amazing and it can actually solve many problems, you need to talk to the people in the industry itself, that I have created a algorithm which is solving this kind of a problem. Do you in that industry itself, okay, you are asking the industrialist, do you want to buy it? People will ask, okay, show the testing, right? And you go and show the testing, and if that test results come into the favor of yours, then you together can decide about the pricing. Never just decide the price by yourself without asking the market adoption. You can say that 100x is my amount, okay, and there might be market who are looking for solutions for maybe 1000x. You can sometimes sell your technology at very, very low price, or it might happen that you have already created a high price of that algorithm or that technology, but the people out there into the market, they are like, this technology is not that great. Probably I'll ask any other inventor to create similar kind of thing at much, much lower cost. So you need to always validate your idea with the industry people. I completely get it that a lot of people will say that he might copy my code, he might copy my algorithms, he might copy. I'm not saying to show them your code or show them your algorithms, but you need to tell them that what are the processes. See, guys, never ever have this. There is a misconception that if I tell my idea to the other person, he will copy my idea. It doesn't happen like this. Trust me, I have met more than 40,000 entrepreneurs in last 3 years. I can definitely tell you your idea doesn't get copied. Only the processes which gets copied. And but your idea, because the processes, the steps, the applications, your mind is something different, the other person's mind would be something different, right? We all know. Okay, again, I'll take you to one more example. Flipkart and Amazon, these two are the same almost. If we go through the outlook, almost these two e-commerce bodies are almost similar, right? But still we appreciate Amazon a lot. You can tell me in the comments afterwards that why do you think so? Why do you think so that Amazon is sometimes better than Flipkart, right? Technology aspects almost doing the same thing, but you, or if you are not able to give the answer today, you can definitely reach out to me and you can tell me. I'll obviously tell you as well, because I know the in-depth details. Their procedures is completely different, their applications are completely different. The outlook of both the e-commerce websites looks like same, but both are doing different things altogether, right? So this is very, very important. Once you have created an idea of a real life problem, please go and validate it with the industry people itself, okay, and create the business plan accordingly. In the business plan, after your validation of the step of your idea, you create a proper market strategy. How will I sell it? Okay, how will I pre-sale it? So pre-sale means that you have created a solution, and now before selling it, your product into the market, you are creating a hype. Again, creating a hype is very, very important stuff. Why? Because there should be something that people should be excited about. Oh wow, this is a new product which is coming into the market. Oh wow, this is something crazy. Oh wow, this is something extraordinary. So there should be something, there should be a hype created, right? I'm not sure how many people again use OnePlus, but OnePlus has created an hype, right? Into the market. OnePlus phone doesn't you won't get OnePlus phone easily available into the shops, but whenever they go for the 2 minutes or 3 minutes sale, OnePlus, or you can say Xiaomi, the Mi, right? They sell on the web platforms, and within 2 minutes they can sell 10,000, 20,000 products just like that, right? So you need to create a pre-sale hype in your business model. So again, this is very important. And the last and the foremost thing is your revenue model. So once you have created the pre-sale, you need to create the revenue model as well, that what can be the best price into the market. Okay, I have already created a hype which people are, and I have already got few of the people demands that they are ready to buy my solution. But what exactly the revenue model should look like, the pricing of my application or algorithm or technology device or whatever XYZ solution, okay, should look like, we should actually create a revenue, a proper revenue regarding the same. So again, this is very, very important. The revenue can contain that what will be your logistics cost, what will be your solution cost, where are you bringing stuff from, okay, at the end of the day, if there is any hardware, what is the hardware cost, right? Even if you are buying AWS credits, if you are buying any DigitalOcean's credits or whatever cloud credits, whatever cloud you are going to use, what is the cost, what is the server cost. So you need to compare all these aspects, and then probably create a proper solution, which you can say that this is my $500 solution, and out of 500, $300 is going to be my logistics, $50 are going to be my let's just say miscellaneous expenses, and $150 will be the net profit. So whenever you talk about the revenue model, you talk about the breakup of your software or your product or of your device. And you talk about it in such a way that whether it's an investor, whether it's the buyer, whether it's anyone, they know that yes, he is 20 to 30% of the margin he's keeping to himself as a profitability. The other 70% are his expenses, right? So this is very, very important in the revenue model. You need to break down the components of what you're buying, how you're buying, from where you are buying. These things are very, very important. So I hope you can understand. And then on the business plan, once you have created the revenue model, you need to identify who is your customer. right? It can, your solution can be a B2B solution, your solution can be a B2C solution, or B2G solution. B2B means business to business, B2C means business to customer, B2G means business to government. Now it depends on you, like what kind of solution you have created and where you are going to sell it. So you need to identify the customers accordingly and create it and write it down in your presentation that yes, this is my exactly revenue model, this is my pre-sale model, this is what the components looks like, and this is how the basic structure of my software is, the basic financial structure of my software is, and this is the target market where I'm going to sell the product. So in 4 or 5 slides you can create your proper business model. But this is again very very important, because if you don't create something like this, probably there would be a coin unturned left, and probably a lot of questions would be there from the people's end, right? That okay, where are you are selling? You can sell it to all the customers or the business or the governments, but again you need to identify there would be some specific sector where you will start it from. So you need to definitely write it down in your presentation. So in the B plan you should definitely create these things, right? And the last, which is not the least, going big, which in terms I can call it as scalability. And scalability is very simple. Again, you can scale anything. Okay, you can scale any of your, whether it's a software, whether it's a development product, whether it's any XYZ solution you have, you can scale it easily through web. You can, again, I'll give you one very basic example. Let's just say there is a a sweet house, or probably वो कहते हैं ना मिठाई की दुकान है proper, like there is a sweet shop in your area. After 100 years, physically, okay, I'm talking about physically, what do you think how many stores he would have? Maybe two, maybe three, maybe five, maybe 10, maybe 20. 100 years it would took 100, it will at least take 100 years to create his physical shop, to create his one physical shop into 5 or 10 or 15. But he cannot go, I don't think so he cannot go, he can go like after 15 or 20, until unless his margins are too great, like one sweet is selling for maybe 100 rupees and his cost is only 10 rupees, right? So this is very very important. You need to identify that the physical growth of a shop or of a product is not great until unless we sell it online, right? And the target market for that 20 shops physically would be only the people who are in the vicinity of that 5, 10, 15, 20 kilometers. Apart from that, there would be no one. But if I'm selling something online, whether it's even the fruits, right? Whether it's an apple, I can sell the fruits from Kashmir and I can sell it to till Kanyakumari, right? That is how. That is through a technology platform. That is through web, right? So this is very very important, guys. It's very very important that when you talk about the solution, you definitely create a proper web platform through, again, which I was saying at the very start, how you are creating a platform with your business aspect from your customer and a buyer or a seller, right? So how you are integrating these two things together, your solution would be there. So I hope I believe the time is almost up. It's almost 4:30. So I would request now Aman to join. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. The comment sections, after like 20 minutes, we can definitely have more questions from you. If you have any regarding web development or on the business side of the things, on the tools and all, Aman would be there to tell you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vanshita. Over to you, Aman.
Thank you, Akarshan, for such a great talk. Thank you for your insights about startup and all. Now, Aman sir, over to you.
Uh, Thank you so much, Vanshita. And of course, that was a very like wonderful learning experience about for those of you who still don't understand like what a business model is, how to actually validate your idea. So let's consider a scenario where you have already figured out all these variables of how you can create a business model, how you can, validate your idea and stuff like this. So now we'll be talking about the actual facts. That was the main theme of what we wanted to discuss today, that how you can actually do a web startup the right way. Now there can be many different ways, as Akarshan also told. You and me might be having different opinions, we might have different mentors and different sources. So what actually is the right way to do it? And there is no right way to do it. What I would actually recommend is what I have learned from my mistakes, and how you can, overcome those mistakes and you don't repeat all these mistakes that I once did. So to start with this, a little bit about me, as Vanchita has already explained. Why you should hear from me? Because I have been doing startups only for the past now 3 to 4 years. I have been working with companies in Europe, in Middle East, all these startups, and it gives me, like, I have done a lot of mistakes. I have done more wrong things than the right things. So once one of the mentor told me, like, there is no way to actually go to a person who has done many wrong things and get lessons from him, so that you don't actually repeat those wrong things. So that's what we are going to understand today inside the web startup. Also, comment section is open to you. Go through it, like, anytime you have any questions, if you don't understand something, if you have a point that I have actually missed, feel free to add your comments. We'll be reading out the questions throughout the sessions, and also we'll have a good ask me anything session afterwards. So feel free to ask through it. So what actually we'll be covering through these agendas is, first of all, planning the tech, which is actually planning your technology. What are the right ways, right steps that you should consider in mind when you are doing this step? Then how you can choose the right tools and framework. Again, there is no one way to do it, but of course we can follow some kind of framework, some kind of protocol that can help us, make this decision much easier. So, and the last one that is important: no startup is without their team, no tech startup is without their developers. So, we'll be also discussing about how you can actually choose the right talent, what are the right sources. And I think in my whole journey, I have like worked with almost more than 100 people, 100 professionals from backgrounds such as Google and Microsoft and Intel. So, I actually am not the most experienced one, but getting a little bit of side sense, a shadow of these guys actually helped me learn a lot of things. So this is what we are going to discuss in today. And if you have any questions, drop in during the whole session, and I'll be happy to answer. So the first thing is planning the technology. So why planning is important? Of course, without planning, you cannot tell your ideas to your team. You cannot distribute your task. You cannot, like, dedicate the number of resources that you want to give, plan a budget and stuff like this. And these are very important when you are doing a startup. So most people will think, okay, let's go into whole 2 months of planning. Let's plan, and all that. That's also a wrong approach. You shouldn't plan, over plan, or do a premature optimization of the plan that you are doing, that you actually miss the actual deliverable that you have to provide to the customer. Your plan should be adequate, just a rundown for next 2 months. You should have your milestone and goals for the whole year, but the actual working plan should be not more than 2 or 3 months. The reason to do this is startup have a very good ability that other companies that don't have. That startups are very agile, and when I mean agile, it means like you can do 10 wrong things, and then you can do the 11th right thing and you are successful. But the big businesses actually cannot afford doing mistakes. So that is why don't plan a lot longer, like not more than 2 months. Why? Because if you want to pivot and you want to do something that's totally different from what you were doing right now, just because it sounds much better, you had a validation in your mind that, okay, this is a much better plan than doing this. So a short term plan help you pivot a very quickly time, but still having a plan helps you dedicate resources and things like that. So let's go through all these points. But before that, I have learned this very, very essential lessons through the past 3 years of my startup journey. And the most kind of used and industry heavy project that I have done is deployed in Greece. It's working right now in 50 hotels, and nearly 1 million people are using that product right now. So there were many mistakes that we did while creating that product, and that's the only product I have seen so far that has been used so many times. But what I actually realized, that during a plan or during choosing a kind of technology or creating a prototype or a web platform, everything, we always think of, okay, let's create this technology. What if 1,000 people or 1 million people come to our platform in one day? How we will actually manage that? So to break the myth today, there is no way your product can scale this much in a short period of time. At least you will be adding 1,000 people per day, and then gradually you will add 10,000, but this will be a very noticeable gradual change. People just don't know what products are coming that rapidly, and they won't go crazy like, okay, let's just buy from this company, and that will disrupt your scale. You will not grow to a million people in one day. So don't think about the technological scale at that point. When you will have this that much kind of user audience, you would probably, okay, so there is a comment, it would be nice if you can touch upon keeping top talent work distribution among team members. Sure, I would touch that point, dark water spider, because that's what the name I can see. So definitely, coming back to our point, don't think about too much of scale. Just think of how you can serve your first 1,000 customers, and then how you can quickly move to the next 10,000 and iterate this process a lot longer. So the planning step that we'll be doing, like discussing today, will be based on this very concept that you have to serve just the first 1,000 customers. And once you have 1,000 customer base, you have enough revenue that you can hire more professional developers, more professional than you, which can make the job much easier, and which can help you make a better product. So there are only two important things that you have to keep in mind while making a plan. You don't need to think about lot of things like how much, profitability and all things come in your business plan. But in a product, you just need to think about two things. One is UX and other one is feasibility. So the first one, user experience, means how a person interacts with your product. Now, even if your product has only two pages, like a form and a landing page, that's it. That's what your current product is having. You need to focus on how you can optimize the overall experience from only these two things. Think of the simplest way of like influencing your customer. That's how actually Amazon is a better product these days than any other e-commerce system, because they focused on each and individual aspect of what is impacting to a user. Other websites were using three-way clicks, four-way clicks, but they come up with the one-click model because that's how user experience was improving. Other people were delivering goods in like 8 days, they were fine with it, but they came up with a single day delivery, which is now coming to a overnight delivery process or things like that. So people love user experience, and that's how we define, how they define and get to know about a product. If two of the ideas are almost same and business model and pricing is same, UX is the deciding factor for a person to choose if he'll go for product number A or product number B. So for you also, you need to think about the user experience of your web app. In this case, you need to think about each individual interactions. It doesn't need a high fidelity designer or a designer from a very good background and all that. Just a simple one who can describe your product in the easiest way possible. Second thing you have to take care is feasibility. Now many people think, okay, I will do this process after I have two full stack engineers, or when I have these many cloud credits and all that. So this thinking of a better day will come which will give me better options never comes in the world. So you have to think of what you have right now and create what you have right now. That's it. If it's not usable even after 10 days, fine, because you at least created something that is usable for next 10 days. And once you have enough resources to iterate, you can go further and create a better project. So for startups, I have seen almost, even if you have, let's say, $100 in your pocket, that's enough to start with your startup. There should be no excuse to consider in terms of this. Most of the companies provide credits, cloud credits, to the startups. Different products that we'll be going through today, and all these startup programs in terms of different tools and frameworks they provide are almost free. The only expenditure that you need to do is to buy a domain name, and maybe you want to go with a little bit of premium hosting. That's it. For a web app, you don't need anything else. You can go totally no code, no programmers needed, and you can create at least the smallest prototype with no excuses at all. And we'll go through all these steps into today's session. So these are few steps that I have divided into, which will help you understand how the steps for planning a technology actually works. So the first thing that you have to do is your value proposition. Now, one value proposition is holded by your business model, that how your business is different than others, why a person should come to your platform rather than others. There should be a value proposition binded with your web product also. This value proposition is actually for three stakeholders in this case. First one, of course, your customers. Your customers should truly understand if they are coming to a website named abc.com, what abc.com will actually help them do. Because this value proposition you will put up as your Twitter bio to your product hint, a small elevator pitch or things like that, a Twitter pitch, which we call it, in defining your startup in 240 characters. That would be used in SEO when you want to explain it. So this value proposition is going to be scaled and used in a lot of places. The second value proposition is for your internal developers. What you would explain to a new full stack developer who is coming to join your team? How would you explain the process of how your web app should work? So this value proposition is applicable to the developer also. The third one is who is the external investor or a person who holds a share, or who is investing a time and resources in your idea. How would you explain that product to him? Now, these definitions may change time to time with these three peoples, but the core principle behind this value proposition should remain same. I have seen startups just saying, okay, it's generating money, it's okay, this business model will just work, but that doesn't works like that. If you want everybody to be at the same page, your value proposition needs to be at the same page. So once you have identified a value proposition, let's say from the same example that Aakarshan Sweet House, you want to create an e-commerce business with expanding this sweet shop to multiple places in India. Let's say, so this is the value proposition. You will see that this is a platform to buy sweets and get delivered them by 30 minutes. This is a good value proposition. Now, for a programmer, it's easy to understand. Okay, he needs to make a web platform which is agile. It provides a good platform for sweet shop to book orders and deliver them, track them orders and things like that. So this is a good value proposition. Second thing that you have to do is to find examples. Now, nobody is an expert, and hardly a person would create two amazing startups in his lifetime. I mean, if he's not Elon Musk, of course, he can create a startup in just one day. But for normal people like us who believes in iteration, failure and success, will hardly create one startup in a lifetime. So the best way to create a near to close successful startup is to get the stories from a successful startup. And this applies to technologies also. It's very hard if you are not expert and experienced enough, that how your technology stack should look like and how things should work around. So finding an example doesn't means that you have to copy the exact steps that they were doing, but this helps you understand that how they made this decision, what made them to make this decision, and helps you understand this example. Let's say for our same sweet shop e-commerce platform, the nearest closest example I think is Zomato. So you would go to blogs and things like that, explore what technology stack, what kind of developers Zomato used in the beginning, which helped them create a prototype. So the second, after the second step, the third step is finding a bootstrapping approach. Now, most of you might already know what Bootstrap is. It's a CSS framework, but no, that's not what we are talking about. Bootstrapping in today's session. Bootstrapping is a process where you don't create everything from scratch. You find a very close to work solution which almost delivers what you are trying to do, but at a very minimal investment in case of time and resources. Let's say this you want to create website. Either you can write the whole HTML and whole CSS and JavaScript for it, or you can just install WordPress, create use a page builder to create a drag and drop website, or maybe use Webflow or Wix to create this website. So this process of relying on some other technology that helped you do this thing is called bootstrapping. And bootstrapping in case of a new startup helps a lot. Many companies do that. There is no shy thing about doing it. Whenever Google or Facebook or any other company is also testing their project, they build things upon an existing framework. The reinventing of wheel is not always a good thing. You are trying to deliver sweets, you're not trying to reinvent the technology. So it's okay for you to actually go around and look for the technologies that you can build upon. The fourth step that we'll do is to create a wireframe and a prototype. Now wireframes, I don't know if you visit your class 7th computers or something, they used to teach us about flow charts. What if this happens, what this will happen. So you just need to create a flow of how person will interact with your product, and also a small screen, like how things are looking up on the main screen. This is called wireframing, and the prototype is the lowest way of explaining how your product actually interacts. So we'll discover about these tools, what you can use for wireframing and prototype also in the upcoming slide. Once you have a wireframe, which can be easily spread across your team, spread across the investor, and also with a valuable user that might be your future customer, and he thinks everything is great, go ahead, launch your first MVP, and that's it. You just need to create a minimum viable product. Now minimum viable product is a very cool term. So minimum viable product means your product that shouldn't like actually scale, say for the whole India, and whole India is ordering sweets from your shop. It should be just made for 100 people, let's say. That's only the thing that you can use to validate your technology, product, and everything. Once you are done with this MVP, decide a timeline, get the feedback from the people, and iterate. Again, do the same process, iterate. That's the only thing that you have to remember. Repeat it so many times that you have perfected the whole process. Japanese use these things all the time. They don't need to remember things, they don't plan a lot, they just iterate, do small planning and iterate a lot. So that's the best approach for creating a good web startup in this case. So following all these 5 steps, we'll go through individual tools and frameworks that can be used in order to implement these steps in the real world scenario. So the first tool that I use almost every time whenever I'm doing a planning or explaining a project or creating a full stack framework in this case is draw.io. So as it suggests that draw.io is a domain name, you can visit draw.io or diagrams.net. It's the same thing. You can create flowcharts using the actual symbols which are respected by the industries, arrows to explain how things are connected, and also kind of interactions between how user is interacting with the product. There are many good tutorials online on YouTube, and I am not a subject expert on creating UML diagrams or flowchart diagrams. But I think it doesn't needs to be perfect. It should be well enough that can you can explain to your the fellow developer that you're creating. Don't create a web project without creating wireframes and flowchart. Just don't. It's just like you know people understand that they have a different understanding about the product, and you understand they have a different understanding of the product, and in the meetings you are just nodding your head, and ultimately one day you see, okay, things are not same in my scenario and his scenario. And that happened because you don't had a same common ground to actually look upon and see what are the right and the wrong things. So a diagram or a simple flow chart helps us to solve these things. This can be also applicable if you're building a house. You at least need a small kind of map which the whole architect of your person, of the builder or the mason himself will be using in order to create your home. Without it, he'll be just laying down the bricks and you don't know what kind of house is being created. So always create diagrams. Next thing is Adobe XD. It's a prototyping tool. Most of the people have misconception that prototyping and designing with Adobe or anything like that is a designer's job. So you guys are wrong. If you're leading any kind of team, you are leading a web startup, you are a completely non-tech person, still you should know the basic things about prototyping. Now using Adobe XD is not the only thing that you can use. You can prototype even using PowerPoint also, and there are other simpler tools to actually prototype, but Adobe XD is the one that I have liked so far. So it is available free. There is a premium version also, but the free one also can serve for you. What it will actually help you is to explain how things should look like. It's a different thing about drawing them on a pen and paper and wireframe, but if you can translate your thoughts into an actual working product, and a person can actually open a mobile phone, see the screens himself, and then see, okay, this is the thing I want to create. It's much easier to complete the task in shorter period of time, and also keep consistency throughout the product. And the user experience that we talked about in the previous slide can also be managed easily by using Adobe XD. You can learn Adobe XD within 1 hour. If you are new to this tool, just visit on YouTube and find tutorial links to Adobe XD. We are also going at mobile web dev. I think we'll be doing Adobe XD or UX UI course soon, so you can join that also. The last one, Miro, is not an important tool that you want to create, but it's a sense mind to use a mind map and a brainstorming tool. I have found it very helpful when I have some thoughts. I don't know how to put them into words, so I used mind maps from Miro. So just give it a try. Again, these things, there are many alternative to these three tools, but I have used so far these three tools to in order to plan and spread my words about what I understand about a technology and how it can be used. Then this is a very important step that almost every web startup or a technology company makes: fixed time, budget, and flex scope. What this means actually, most people think, okay, we want to create the best software ever, and they don't have a delivery timeline to it. Like they are just extending timeline. Okay, we want to fix this. Okay, let's skip it 1 week again for the next month, and then the perfect time for launch of your product will never come. I've worked with so many startups, and there is no one day that you will say, okay, this is the perfect startup. Even the perfectest of perfect you see today are still iterating and adding new features. Why? Because this process never ends. So, what you need to do, firstly, you need to decide the time. I have to deliver this first prototype. Doesn't matter what this first prototype actually contains, but at least it should be delivered by this time. Let's say 1 week or 2 weeks. If you are familiar with sprints, that's how we convert of delivering one project timeline in that specific time. We call them sprints. The next thing is to fix the budget. How much resources you're going to put on that, how much money you're going to burn on this sprint or the milestone that you want to deliver. But of course, you can flexize the whole scope, what you are going to deliver. You can remove the features anytime, because features are not creating your product is adding features into it. So if you don't have a product which is getting launched to a person, he doesn't has any idea of what you are doing. So do small changes, do small iterations, add a small feature like, okay, I will provide live tracking, but this is not a doomsday kind of feature in my sweet delivery shop. So it's not important to deliver it right now, but at least I would deliver this product in 1 month, and I will add this live tracking feature in the upcoming days. So now we are on the final kind of destination in the whole process of planning. You have planned the whole thing, you have visited all the existing example framework. Now you need to decide what actually tools and frameworks you will use, like what kind of mail provider you will use, what kind of framework in terms of React, JS, Angular, what you will use. So guys, again, the best feature that I have found, the power that developers or non-developers have today, is going no code. For those of you who still don't understand what no code is, no code is a new way of development where you don't actually code anything. There are ready-made templates, there are ready-made tools and technologies that you can just use, drag and drop and things like that, to actually convert your ideas into a small MVP. And once you have this no code prototype working pretty well, you can hire a developer, iterate it over this process, and create a final product. So this is the best way to actually start a web startup going no code. Tools that have always helped me to actually understand what are the latest technology in terms of no code and what are the different tools I can use in terms of no code is Product Hunt. So Product Hunt is a kind of a competition between all the upcoming product and technologies, especially startups who are promising and who people like. So you can just go and create an account and Product Hunt and see what are the top 10 frameworks that are coming. And I promise, like, you will find some many interesting tools and built on bootstrap technologies that you can create your whole product on without doing anything. Next is Startup Stash. Most of our fellow co-founders and founders have this dilemma of FOMO kind of feeling that what's the best thing to do this. Am I missing something important here or something like that? So if you don't want to have that feeling, just go to Startup Stash, select what kind of tools you want to find out, and they have a huge directory of all these tools that you can use for your business operations. And trust me, for startups, most of these things are free. As I already told you, $100 is enough for you to survive for next 6 months to at least create your MVP of the product. Then No Code Tech is another website, again creating all, having all the tools and frameworks that you don't need to know about, need to know like any kind of coding or programming about, and you can just visit to nocode.tech to find all these frameworks. The last one is page flows. So there is like Leonardo da Vinci once said that the best artist is the one who's like copies things, and I don't remember the whole code, but you get the idea. So you are not perfectly the best designer in the world, but what you can do, you can copy from the products that are actually working well in the starting. So this website page flows actually help you to see what are the different flows of page for working products who are always, who are already into the market and doing great. So you can just copy all your steps, convert your things for what works for you, and you can create your own prototype, so you don't need to be a design original person. Next thing is bootstrapping approach. So as similar to no code, bootstrapping approach is creating something on top of existing technology. So you don't need to build everything from scratch. I have found WordPress to be a very great solution for those of you who have known WordPress only as a page builder and a drag and drop builder. So WordPress is more than that. Actually, WordPress is known to be a content management system. It can be used anywhere from a e-commerce site to a delivery site to a learning management system to a live chat platform, to a content platform, to a video YouTube like kind of thing. You can use WordPress for almost everything, and it has a lot of plugins and themes, and you can build your own plugins and themes for your custom functionality. So don't build your backend from scratch. Use WordPress, use its APIs, and create front end things on top of WordPress. That's a very great approach. Then there have been recent development in creating more agile and good bootstrap backends, which are such as Graph CMS. Graph CMS is a GraphQL based CMS where you can create your own custom schema, and you don't need to write any backend code, and still it will be a very good and agile backend for you to build your own front end and app upon. And the last one that I love the most is Zapier. If you don't know about Zapier, Zapier is a task automation kind of pipeline thing. So Zapier, again, you don't need to know any coding for using Zapier. If you are a startup that works a lot of time on things like triggers and events, such as for our sweet shop business, we want email or a message to be delivered when a person orders. So you don't need to write a whole Python code to create this event and listeners. You can just use a pipeline on Zapier without writing any code, and it will do the same job as a thing that you have created on your own. So, and this is my favorite, go open source. Open source provide you a free flexibility of copying and pasting whatever you want from the tool, as far as you are not doing something illegal with it. So you can almost, if you are a AI or ML startup, there are so many open source library from, Scikit, NumPy, and TensorFlow, where you don't need to know about all the mathematics and to-dos of the backend, but you can just copy and quote a code from any good open source library, use in your backend, and it will work flawlessly because it has a good backing of other people using that same framework. And as a backend also, you can use many technologies, such as I found that Discourse and Rocket Chat were a good open source solution for creating your own discussion forums and a Slack copy. And this was amazing, like it changed my perception about open source forever. The code is visible to you, so you can change anything according to your needs, and there are no bugs attached to it. Like you can solve them on your own. There are huge backing of people, and of course they are free to use. You can copy and add them to your business model to that. So I guess for e-commerce platform like our Sweet House delivery shop, there is a open source platform which runs on Drupal or Joomla, I don't remember actually, but you would find that there are many exactly replication of many products which you can copy from open source. Just do a stroke of your own design philosophy and things like that, and this product is ready to go. Remember, again, your startup is not about reinventing the technology, it's about delivering the suites. So that's what important is, and rest is just the back end. So the go to strategy for creating a web product right now, don't jump directly into creating an app. The problem with creating app is that of course you won't be perfect in the first go, and this imperfection may lead to some bad reviews on your Google Play Store or App Store. These bad reviews can never be removed, and a person always check for reviews whenever downloading an app. So it's okay to launch later than launch early and have bad reputation about your app. So there is a trend in the market right now that is creating a progressive web app first. For those of you who don't know what progressive web app is, so a website that actually act as a mobile app inside a mobile. So Android supports progressive web app, iPhone also started supporting progressive web app. If you have used Flipkart Lite or Instagram Lite on the mobile, it automatically pops up the add to home screen action. That is a progressive web app, and you don't need to do a lot of things to actually convert your website to a progressive web app. If you have a already responsive website which works good on mobile, you just need to add two or three files. Again, we have a course on how to create progressive web apps. Check that out too, and you are ready to go. You have a progressive web app. Then Android has something called as trusted web activity, which can convert your progressive web app to an actual working app, which you can launch into Play Store. Oyo Lite and Instagram Lite or Facebook Lite are the good examples of TWS, which are exactly in the Play Store. And once you have figured out that okay, your app is working fine, everybody is happy with that, then only release the actual native app which people can download and rate in the Play Store. The reason to do this again is, in a web app it's much easier to iterate. You can do 10 different updates, 10 different changes, and quickly push them out. But in a native app, a person has to manually download the update to get those features done. And in India, most of the people don't like updating their apps frequently. So if your app has a bug, other person will be blaming you, don't you didn't do a good job, and you will be stuck with a customer lost. So a web app can overcome these challenges. You can iterate faster, and you can create changes much faster. Then one important thing is creating landing pages. Most of the companies create a page that is like too hard to understand from the customer. For me, there are only three things that are important in a landing page. It shouldn't be too big. It should define your value proposition that we discovered in the step one of planning, and your support should be great. You should have a customer form or a live chat support where a person can actually talk to a person. This trust of your product actually being backed by a human is very important when a person is spending money on your website or making a decision. Don't expect a person to just visit your website and buy a 500 rupees product just because you had a website and you had a good pitch or things like that. There needs to be a human element attached to it, and that's what the support is for. Again, use a call to action, which is a clear conjunction to the user, what how he has to act upon in order to get his things done. So a good call to action in case of our sweet house can be order now or things like that. So that call to action for a landing page is important. Why I'm talking about this again is, you have amazing appers which explains everything, but if you are a new startup, a landing page helps your customer to actually understand your product in a very easy manner. So now we are on the final section of doing the web startup in a right way, and that is hiring the right talent. Now, I have done a lot of mistakes in hiring the talent, and there is no perfect way of doing that. It's again is a process where you do mistakes and learn again and again. But so far, I have divided the whole process of hiring the right talent into these four steps. So the first one is discovery of this talent. This should be done more from an omnipresent way. You shouldn't be like sending emails or creating a form or attaching posters. These are all the old ways. The discovery of good talent is actually now different. It's more like where where the most of the time this person is spending. So according to me, two of the best platforms that I have seen so far are angel.co. Again, it's a free platform to hire talents, and then meetups like the one that we are having right now. If a person is actively participating in a meetup or speaking in a meetup, he is of course different than others, because he is, instead of watching Netflix or doing something stupid, he is actually investing time in learning. For me, a candidate like this is a better person. Like, if you have to choose from a person who has a capability of learning things faster, or a person who already knows everything, whom you will choose? Obviously the first one, because he will help you to grow and learn at a very good rate. If you don't agree with me, drop me in the comment. I would love to hear. If you have any questions, again, interrupt me at any point in the comments. I will pick it up and see this thing. So next thing is analyze his work. Go to his portfolio, see how he has done his work. Maybe some of this project he has done are already much similar to the web app you are trying to create. Also visit the GitHub profile. So GitHub profile is like the LinkedIn for developers, where you can see what the work they have done. So you can visit their profile and see if they are actually working along, or they are just copy pasting others works. Then go into a nice discussion, nice talk with them, which is technically called an interview, but I would say it is as a nice talk. Why? Because it's not just you hiring him, it's him also trying to invest his good time which he can use for other purposes in trusting your startup and dedicating time into your startup. So this should be a two-way conversation in which he should say about good things and bad thing about himself. We should also explain good things and bad things about yourself, at least in the starting part. Once your startup grows then 50 people, you would probably do these steps on your own. Then the last thing is share responsibility. One principle that I have followed every time, in terms of creating a team: trust a person with blind eye. If he breaks your trust, don't trust him again. That's the only principle. There is no one, kind of test or a truth test that you can run on a person which can help you understand this person is trustworthy or not. This only principle works all the time. Trust him with full gut, and if he breaks your trust, never trust him again. So share the responsibility, whichever you want to give it to him, with full sense. Give him good care and gestures. If you think he's not the right person, don't wait for the time. Let him know as instantly as possible. It's good for you, good for him. He can go and explore the opportunities, and you can hire the better talent. So this is an approach. Now, what are the more important responsibilities? As Dark Water Spider, I again don't know your name, asked about what kind of team and work distribution you should keep in a web startup. I'm talking about apart from marketing and sales role that you would keep. I'm not expert on that, but in the technology perspective, a full stack developer and a front end person is enough to scale a startup from 1 to 1,000 people. It's easily, they can easily do the job and create a good product like our sweet shop scenario. So a full stack developer should be a practitioner, meaning that he should not be a newbie. In this case, he should have already created at least 2 or 3 projects in terms of full stack technologies. He should know at least one stack of technology very well, whether it's a bootstrap technology including WordPress or a React front end, anything, but he should know from top to bottom. He should know how to get things done, how to deploy a project, because that without that you won't actually hit the milestone at the right time. And he should be an ideator, and he should come up with new ideas. He should have that sense, okay, if this thing is not working out, how he can quickly move to another approach and things like that. He should be very fast with this ideating process. Then you need a front end person who should be agile. Agile means that you call him at 12 p.m., which of course you would not do in 12 in the midnight, I'm sorry, and he should be able to pick up the call and say, okay, I'm going to release this feature. This agility he should have in themselves, at least in the front end person. You won't need that in the back end or the full stack, but at least in the front end you need to know that. And he should be a iterator. Now the to understand iterator, it's actually a person who is not shy about saying, okay, I have created this, I'm going to stick with it, I'm not going to improve my idea or change to a different approach. He should be okay with it. Okay, let's try a different approach, let's try this UI, let's try this color, or let's try this button. This is very important with the front end developer. If he is not changing the overall view of how your application is looking on the front, then it doesn't make sense to actually have him inside your company. The whole idea of front end is to iterate the product very faster. And he should be having a little bit of design sense of, okay, what the color is about, what are different alignment technologies and all that. So a little bit of design sense. And optionally you can have a third person that is a designer if you are really a UX or UI focused startup. Many startups are actually very focused on that, so you would need a designer. Again, the two concept he should have is agile, and also he should be a good convincer. He can be used into multiple roles. He can wear different hats, like create pitch decks for you, create marketing banners. So he should actually understand your product very well and convince other with your product. He might also join your sales wing, let's say, and the marketing team also. So in the startup, it's not important that one person will do only one job. You have to wear different hats, and these are the 3 main roles that you should give. Again, rotate these kind of people, listen to them, don't just throw down what you want to get from them. Have a brainstorming session at least. Finally you will get your things done, of course, but at least have a nice discussion which talks about their points also, and then you also say your points and things like that. So, to quickly recap, these were all the steps that I had to say about doing a web startup from the tech side, how you should do that. So, to quickly recap, don't think of too far. Again, don't think of more than 2 months. You should be able to iterate much faster rather than planning long run and creating a heavy lifted startup. So, that's a good thing to do. Stay less. So by staying less, I mean doing less code, adding less features, and having less technology. Having less things helps you iterate and experiment with things much more rapidly than creating something big and you cannot just improve features inside it. So keep everything low, keep every features low, and then add features line by line once you are sure with the other part that you have created is working properly. Third point is create half product, not half assed product. So don't add 100 features in which only 50 of them works and 50 of them are just like click blinks, but create 50 features and do them wisely. This is the approach that DHH, who is the founder of Basecamp and now Hey Emails, uses. So he doesn't add too many things to his product but adds limited things which works perfectly well in different scenarios. So create half products, not half assed products. Then fail faster. It's evident that you won't create the best product in the first go. So what you should do, you should fail very faster and you should be able to come up, create a better solution to that problem and come up with a solution again. So with that, the follow up to this whole session that we did, you can connect with our community mobile web dev, and we have good entrepreneurs and founders who can help you, with your brainstorming process, hiring the right talent, getting the technology done in a very easy way. And we, it's an open source community again, so free for all. And then some good resources to read for web app developers is Getting Real from Basecamp, a good guide on creating real world products. And then Hooked from Neer Eyal, who is kind of a close person to Twitter guy, Jack Dorsey. And he has explained all the products of how you can create good engaging products, web apps. And then 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel, that explains the whole process of how you should actually plan to create products and how you should validate. So with them, that's the thing that was waiting so long. Let's get started and let's create your startup. Fail faster, and don't think too long. So if you have any questions, ask in the comment. We can have the AMA now. So I can add, yeah.
Aman, there is a question for you.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
there's a
So let's see that.
Okoboji.
So firstly, I'll ask this one. It should be nice if you can touch upon keeping top talent and work distribution among team members. So I explained the tech side of distributing the team members. Akarshan, do you have any point for the non-tech marketing sales?
I don't think so. Whenever you go for a team hiring, I would always say that just hire a passionate person, whatever field he is in, whether it's in the business development or in the technology. Just do a bit research about him or her, about their previous work, what they have done. Even if it's a fresher, just give him or give her or some time to understand about your project and give him or her a normal work, even if it's a content writer or just writing a one pager or on the business development. Just tell them that what will be the first step if you want to go for the business, right? If it's a technology person, just ask them to show a previous work. So just do a bit research about the candidate and just see how passionate he or she is, and then hire accordingly. He should be a crazy person like you, then only it will be a additional value. Otherwise, if you are hiring a person who is not as crazy as you, then it would not be a great thing. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Good, amazing. So another question we have from Okoboji again. I don't know if this is the real name. I want to build a marketplace and I am confused between two models, SaaS and PaaS. Which one is better? How does LaaS helps? So as far as this IaaS, I guess that's last point. So I guess SaaS means software as a service, and PaaS means platform as a service, and IaaS means infrastructure as a service. So for creating a marketplace, if you are a more kind of person, you want to reach to mass audience. So I guess the software as a service should be the first, approach, at least in the the going first step in creating your startup. You can start with something like WooCommerce running on WordPress. Again, for that you would need a little bit of hosting knowledge. That means that comes under little bit of PaaS, platform as a service. Or you can just go with something like Shopify, which is a good platform, It's a little bit expensive if you start getting more customers, but you can at least acquire them for the first 100 or 1,000 of them to just validate your idea. And once you are satisfied with it, you can go on creating something to scratch. So this should not be just one decision. For the starting, it should be SaaS, then moving to PaaS, and then finally having your own infrastructure. So that's amazing. We have more questions. How soon should we plan to iterate, example PWA to apps? When to plan for the SEO? Okay, so this is again a technical question from Dark Water Spider. Again, I don't know the real name. So to answer this, I think this actually depends upon the analytics rating that you have. So let's say you are starting to have a daily 100 engaging users on your web app. That's, I think, the right call to say, okay, now you should go native, because now people are liking your app and all that. So they should be staying almost 10 to 20 minutes depending upon the type of product you have. For example, in the situation you had a sweet shop delivering sweets, in that case you don't need a long engagement time, but at least 100 engaging users are enough to validate, okay, your web app is something that they want, and then you can move towards apps. Okay, next question is from Gaurav A. In the current times, which one should you recommend, hire remote or hire full time, or get a CTO for a tech heavy startup? Akarshan, do you want to say anything on this?
Which one would you recommend? Hire remote or hire full time or get a CTO for a tech heavy startup? For any tech startup, you must require a CTO, and the person probably with whom we are interacting, he's a CTO himself, Mr. Aman Sharma, I would say. So whether see, it doesn't matter whether you are hiring a full-time person or a remote person, you will easily get his access, right? You will obviously able to track him through a lot of softwares or whatever he's doing, right? But again, as I said, the CTO or CEO or CMO, they should be passionate enough, and crazy heads like you. Until unless you don't hire a crazy head or passionate person, then trust me, guys, I would really say that I have known Aman for a quite long time, and Aman is very, very passionate for coding, right? He is very, very passionate towards the tech development. So whenever you are going to hire a CTO, just see to it that he should be very passionate. Again, passion is a very strong word over here, because if they don't like coding, if they don't like people, if they see, again, Aman is leading more than 30 or 35 people, and that too they are into coding, they are into technicalities, right? If I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
Aman. So if
Yes,
he's
so it's
doing
a
that,
50-50, 50%
yeah,
tech and 50% non-tech.
okay, even 50% tech, like I can say 15 to 20 people he's working with are tech personalities, right? And how he's leading, it's because he is a technology enthusiast, and he likes to work with a person who is working towards something, developing a code or a web or anything, right? So the CTO should be very, very passionate, even to work at a very small level of programming. Even if it's a creating of a normal calculator on C++, he should be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Even if not, yeah. So tech person, CTO person should be passionate. That's it, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's exactly like if you want to create a restaurant of your own, the master chef should know cooking, of course. Without him, you
Absolutely,
cannot just plan
absolutely,
what kind of dishes you should have and things like that.
absolutely, absolutely.
Again, hiring remote or hiring full time, this has been a current dilemma with our company also. So there are very good side of hiring remote people, because they can spend more time on creating products and features without any distractions. Full time is just when people are coming to office, half of the time they are just traveling in metro and stuff like this, and half of the time they are just chit chatting. So there is time wastage in full time, I guess, and most of the company like Twitter has already gone full remote. It's a good option. If people are professional enough, you don't need to face them face to face to explain them what they need to do. They will understand the technology as well. Next question is from Tanmay Majumdar. Do I need to code the latest version of technology? Suppose I am working in Angular 8 and Google releases every update in half a year. Do I need to get it update every time? So again, that's the problem. Why companies add updates? think of this perspective, because they know they won't be able to launch a perfect a framework in one go. And that's what updates are meant for, to fix old problems and to add new features. So whenever a new update is coming, you should look upon whether this new update is very much important. Is it adding too much value to your existing web app or your app code that you have created, or is it just something that you don't want right now, but in the future it would be fine. The second option is what your developers and what you are comfortable with. I'm totally frank with, okay, I've seen some people who are comfortable with using Python 3.7. They don't know a lot of things about Python 3.8, even though they are not different. And all of these frameworks have backward compatibility. It's not important to run on latest, version of that technology. Even some of the Google's website are not running on latest Angular, and it's totally fine with it. So just, whenever you are making this change in the next iteration, then make this decision, what are the new upcoming things in the new version of this framework release, and then decide, okay, you want to go with that release or you are just fine with it. Time wastage or adding things which doesn't matter is just not important at all. So next question is from Monica Rajput. How do someone determine whether she is capable of starting a business? I guess, Akarshan, you should answer this.
Monica, trust me, I ask a lot of questions regarding this, whether I'm capable of starting a business or not. Um, I'll say everyone is capable of starting a business. Please don't remove this doubt from your side, from your mind, that you are not capable of starting a business. You are capable. There are a lot of funds. There are a lot of government supports. There are a lot of people to help you. It's just you should start take a step. Just take a step. Just try to implement that, what problem you are going to solve and what is your idea, and trust me, automatically you will start on your own and you will get the journey. Obviously you will struggle sometime, you will perform immediately, you will have a lot of results in your favor, there would be results might against you. It doesn't matter, right? Because that's how we will be successful. And as Aman said at the start, and I'm also saying, there would be a lot of struggle which will be happening as an entrepreneur, but it doesn't stop you, because when you will get the results, it will be the most fruitful and the sweet thing you will ever get, right? So you should always, you are a capable person, just think about that. And trust me, don't worry, just take a step, just take the first step. The first step is only the step which probably people get confused in. So just take the first step, just identify the problem and start selling out your solution. Don't just, I'm not saying create the solution right away. Take a notebook, take your laptop, write down the solution, write down what you have to do, and then automatically start researching. You will obviously go ahead. So don't worry about it. How to get the right pitch and convince market with less of experience to show. Arendra, right, there is nothing like as a right pitch. For few people, there would be a right pitch like just regarding the financials. For few people, it will be about the right technology. For few people, it might be the right problem. So there is nothing as termed as right pitch. The pitch should, whatever pitch you are creating, see, the pitch deck should be always of about 5 to 10 slides, not more than that. It should be crystal clear, it should be short, it should tell that exactly what is the problem, what is your idea, how you are going to make money, what is the process, what is your product, who are the customers, that's it, and what is your team looks like. These 7 8 things if you cover in your slide, in your pitch deck, that's finish. Okay. And market will be experienced enough in whichever market you are going to pitch your startup into, whether it's just as simple as an e-commerce market, whether it's as easy as into going into the into more into established market like business market. So don't worry about it. It's nothing a big challenge for you. Just create a right pitch deck, as I said, creating that 7 8 slides, and go into the market with a bang. So please don't worry about the market and all.
So next question is from Okoboji.
Yeah.
Is Magento a good platform to create a marketplace multi-vendor site? So I haven't personally worked on Magento, but I guess many good companies are using Magento as their e-commerce platform in the backend. So of course there is some good community backing in case of Magento. I have few people in my kind of circle that know Magento a lot. If you are interested in knowing these, like getting an opinion from them, you can join our Slack group, message me over there, and I can connect you with them. But any platform or anything, like just do a kind of quick uh, kind of comparison SWOT analysis for that frameworks. If you don't know about SWOT analysis, that is strength, weaknesses. Uh, what's the A? Do you know the A, Akarshan, or anybody from the comments? SWOT. T I know
Sorry,
is threat.
sorry, you asked me something.
Yeah, you know what is A in the SWOT analysis?
A in the SWOT analysis, it's strengths, weakness. Oh, A, there is no A in the SWOT analysis. Come on,
Oh,
it's just
there is
it's
O.
W.
Yeah,
So,
I was confused.
strengths, weakness,
Yeah.
opportunities, and threats.
Opportunity. Yeah. See, we have experts. So he's my mentor also. So whenever I get stuck with this stupid situation, he's so Gaurav, you are right. It's opportunities. So any framework that you are going up with, always see the SWOT, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats for that particular frameworks. If the strength and the opportunities are greater than weakness and threats, go with that platform. Don't worry about the future. You can change the technology at any point, no problem. So dark water spider, no code perspective was revelation. Amazing concept there. Thanks, Aman. Yeah, the this no code perspective has been a changing scenario for me also. We have saved a lot of money and time in terms of creating small MVP products in our company also. And there is no shyness if you are a tech company and you are using no code. There is no problem with that. There are enough technologies and you don't need to reinvent another one. Just use what you have existingly. Is MBA or businessman mindset required for creating business strategy? Tech side, I understand, but the business and modeling side worries me. Akarshan?
Yeah. So, guys, I'm sorry I have to leave. I'll just answer this question. Business mind, probably again, business strategy. As I told, you in the right beginning, that revenue model, the components, the breakdown, everything you have to identify. You need to identify the process as well, the market as well. You need to research a lot in the market where you are going to sell the solution. And business MBA, it doesn't matter. We have heard a lot of things. One of the best entrepreneurs of our country, Ritesh Agarwal, he's not even a graduate right now, right? But he created a wonderful business plan. He created a wonderful technology, and he solved a lot of problems of the people. And right now, he's the youngest millionaire, right? So it doesn't matter. Even I'm not an MBA. Even Aman is not an MBA, and still we are, doing wonderful jobs in our businesses. We struggle a bit, but it's okay. There are a lot of people to help us out over there into the market, but again, business will only happen when you will go into the market and try to establish a good relationship with the customers or with the buyers who are going to buy your solution. So it's all about that at the end of the day. So thank you, Aman, and thank you, mobile web development community. I
Thank you
really
so
have
much,
to
Akarshan.
leave.
I'm sorry this extended to 1 hour 30 minutes
No,
because
no, no.
this
It's
was such an
absolutely
amazing
fine.
topic.
It was a wonderful session, and I would love to come back. So thank you so much once again. And Aman, great job, man. You are doing wonderful job. I would like to say
Thank
in
you
front
so
of everyone, you are rocking right now in the ecosystem. So great
much.
job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This
All the
sound
best.
really.
Take care, guys. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Akarshan, for joining us.
Thank you.
So next question is from Gaurav. And the question is, I don't have a CTO. I'm a non-tech founder. Should I work on developing MVP using a no-code workflow or get a tech person first? So if it's so core to technology, let's say, like for example, if you are creating a backend framework, then of course it's very important to have a CTO. But I don't know, from the last question that you asked, let me go through it in current times. So I don't know particularly which startup you are having. If it's a text heavy startup, if the tech is the only product, then CTO is very much important. But if it is like, it should be allied with tech, like a e-commerce platform or a web platform, like a social media platform and things like that, then you can easily go with no code approach. Use Zapier for automation, stuff like this. Build Bootstrap on WordPress or Magento in this case, as one of the fellow asked. So it's no shy to actually go with these options. And once you have validated your MVP, minimum viable product, then you can go and convince a person to join on board as a CTO. Like, again, don't wait for the resources to knock on your door or opportunities to knock on your door. Just keep on doing things, and the best things will come automatically when the time is right. So how Okoboji, how can I connect with you in Slack? So just visit mobileweb.dev/Slack, and you will be having a easy Slack link. Let me actually, type that link for you. Yeah, so I have that link in the comments. So you can visit this link and get an invite to join our Slack community and ask any questions. So any other question from anyone? Well, it was a wonderful session, and we expected it to be just a hour and long, but it extended to 1 hour 30 minutes. So, Vanchita, do you have any last words?
Yeah, so thank you, audience, for your cooperation, for your patience, and also for coming up and listening to two of our great
Sorry, you are not
mentors.
audible,
For that,
Vanchita.
hello.
Yeah,
Yeah. So thank you, audience, for your patience and cooperations, and for coming up like right in the evening to listen to our most like to our great mentors of and talking about the startup and all. And I hope now that you have the better mindset about doing a startup and how do you plan out. So thank you, Aman sir, and thank you, audience, for being there.